thing. Ah! Hi friends, welcome to the weekly update with my smart team. Not my smart team, your smart team, our smart team, we's smarts teams.
And Exit Realty First.
At Exit Realty First.
Yes. So
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
We're a week older
Yeah.
as a company this week.
Yeah. Hey, so today we wanted to chat with you about one thing that we think is really important. You know, we are in a lot of houses. Last year, I think I counted it up, I was in 400 or more houses, just between showings and listing appointments and that kind of thing. I'm not trying to puff us up, but we sold 70 houses last year. So that's, we get to see a really great sample of homes in Jackson and sometimes the surrounding areas too. So we go into a lot of houses that are in really great condition and a lot of houses that aren't. So we want to always encourage you to do those little things that can go unnoticed, that can make a big impact on your quality of life and the value of your house over time. Because I have a real estate perspective all the time, so I love making improvements to my house that add value. So my wife and I are going to price out new doors and doorknobs. We are going to replace the vanities in our bathrooms and that kind of, like, our house is very 70s. So we're starting to do that. Last night, we started ripping down the wallpaper. Woo! Found some green paint underneath it. It's great. Some mint green, dark mint green. It's glorious. So,
did the wallpaper come off easily?
When I steamed it.
Well, even then, sometimes it's difficult
Yeah.
to get off.
Yeah, it was coming off in good sized chunks once we put a steamer to it, but yeah.
I've heard.
So we had a steamy night, me and my wife. She may not want us to share that. Anyway.
That sounds pretty hot to me.
So here are a few different things that you can do to increase the value of your house maybe, increase your quality of living, but also just keep your house in a really good condition over time. My favorite thing that you can do that I think increases the quality of living that you may not even notice, and this is something we tell people to do before they list their house every time. Do you know what I'm going to say?
I do. Oh, wash the windows.
Yeah.
Wax on.
Yeah. Don't put wax on your windows. That's a terrible idea. But wash them. Wash your windows. And something you may not think to do is take off the screens. As light is reducing outside, we want to decrease the barrier between you and the sun as much as possible. So, nice clean windows and windows that don't have screens on. Allow the most amount of natural light. This is important if you have somebody who maybe not clinically, but possibly suffers from a seasonal affective disorder because they don't get enough vitamin C or D.
D.
C,
D.
D, D. Yes, and D. D.
Yes, indeed.
So having a lot of natural light, maybe even swapping out lamps in your house for some UV lamps, bringing some of that vitamin D through light into your house.
One of the LED lights is a daylight light, and that helps simulate what you would normally see outside. So that's a good thing too.
Yeah. What's something else we can do?
One of the things that we have planned to talk about today is indoor air quality.
Yeah.
And we're at the time of the year when in Michigan you have 2 seasons, air conditioning and heat, all in the same day.
Yeah.
And with air conditioning, you don't notice it so much, but when the furnace kicks on, there's a funky smell comes in.
Yeah.
And there are 2 things that people need to do. What's the first one?
First is get their ducks in a row.
Yep.
Or at least polished.
Get them clean.
Yeah, getting your ducts clean. Not like the ducks that go quack, but the ducts that carry air.
Right.
Not the ones that fly through the air, the different kind that like contain the air.
Sure. So if you want some more information on that, we put a couple of YouTube videos out on indoor air quality, and if you look at the one where we're holding duct tape up to our eyes, and the other one's where we got a register vent, we're holding it up. If you look at those, that'll give you some real good insight into what's going on.
Yeah, and it's not just our word, it's the owner of Ducts of Mid-Michigan, a duct cleaning company. So they add value by knowing knowing statistics and information about indoor air quality in your house.
Yeah, what they do is they actually bring their camera and look inside to see what the condition is.
Yeah. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, check out those other videos. The other thing we wanted to talk about too, I think, was getting your furnace serviced. So when your furnace has this part inside of it called the heat exchanger, and it's a vital part of the furnace, and that heat exchanger can get dirty over time. As it collects dust, that dust can hold moisture. That moisture can cause the heat exchanger to crack. If it cracks, buy furnace. Like, it's expensive to fix, difficult to get the furnace back up to its ideal state. So this is what you should do. Have a professional company come out and service your furnace. We have one we have a great relationship with, and we trust them. Like, we really trust them because we've seen the quality of their work. I actually recommended them to my parents when they had to get a new furnace and air conditioning unit in their house.
And we use it for ours too.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have them out here shortly to service our furnace, and that is Aspen 1 Hour Heating. We should probably link to their site in this video, so go ahead and click below if you want to get in contact with them. One of our favorite people there is Brent Brzezinski. He is a wealth of knowledge. As Doug knows so much about indoor air quality, Brent knows so much about furnace and optimizing your system.
You know what just dawned on me is both of those guys aren't just salespeople.
Yeah.
They were actually technicians within the company.
Really?
And they did the work.
Yeah.
And
So
eventually
they-
grew into Doug into ownership.
Yeah. And Brent into the front end.
Into the front end and into
Yeah.
the sales side.
Yeah.
So what's really cool about it is they understand because they've done it.
Yeah.
They understand what the need is, and
Mhm.
they can solve the problems. So,
Yeah.
so Ben, one of the things that I know that you recommend, that we recommend, is when we're putting a house on the market, is change the air filter
Yeah.
in your furnace. It's a simple thing.
Mhm.
And so what happens, Ben, if somebody doesn't do that and the inspection occurs after there's an offer made and the furnace filter is dirty? What happens? What's
What happened for me, because I neglected to change my furnace filter before the inspection happened.
I can't believe that.
I know.
That's embarrassing.
I just didn't think of it because anyway, our house was on the market for 3 months. So I changed it the day after the inspection because my thermostat was one that reminded me when to change it.
Oh.
And it was the day after the inspection that it reminded me to change it because that's how it works. So the buyer asked me to have my furnace checked by a professional. Because of that, added time to the transaction. It also cost me some money to have Aspen come out and do that.
And the bigger thing is, it raises questions. Well, if he neglected that,
What else did he neglect? Yeah.
So it's a way of keeping your house maintained.
Mhm.
And Ben, you and I both know that we go to a lot of houses and we see signs of deferred maintenance.
Yes.
And
Often.
now it's catch-up time
Yeah.
because I'm going to sell the house.
Yeah.
Well, take care of those things so that it doesn't get put off, deferred, and then cost time and money
Yeah.
and a delay to getting ready to sell. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So these are things that you can do before listing. If you're just owning a house, these are really good things for you to do. What you should know is that when we list a house, we don't put low quality houses on the market. We just don't do it. We have a high standard for the houses that we list, and we've been very fortunate to have clients that listen to our advice because we know how to get houses sold. So
So the positive side of that is when people listen to us,
mhm.
we get the house sold faster for
Yeah.
more money with less hassle.
Yeah.
Occasionally we'll have someone that says, well, I don't want to do all of that, and it
Mhm.
ends up costing time
Um,
every
yeah.
single time.
Yeah, the cost of deferring maintenance now, if you want to list in a year, is that we tell you to do these things and you end up getting your house on the market later than what you want. But if you don't do those things, then your house ends up sitting on the market for a while.
Exactly.
So we want you to have the best experience possible. We'll even say that you open a gateway for you to have a superior real estate experience as compared to everybody else. But that doesn't happen without following the right order of things. You just can't take shortcuts in real estate.
Right.
It just costs you so much. And we don't take shortcuts in our business, so we don't want to take shortcuts with your business either, which happens to be your house. So those are just two easy things, is ducts furnace, that's one, and then cleaning the windows and taking the screens off. Two easy things that you could do as you prepare for fall. Next week, we are going to chat with a professional landscaper to talk about what you can do outside as you are moving from cold weather. Because we're not just moving from hot to cold, we are moving from hot to leafy and wet and then snow, and there's a certain amount of thing. I know, I snow. I shouldn't have said that.
No, you should not.
No. So we're moving into a season where things could get a little hairy.
Could get a little icy.
That was great. You heard it straight from not the horse's mouth. Anyway, joke from the John. Not a potty joke, but a joke from John.
Don't say that. I'm feeling flushed.
Oh, we really should end this before we get into troubled waters.
So check out the link below.
Yeah.
Say goodbye. Thanks, friends, for joining us.
We'll see you next week.
Appreciate you. You threw me off course.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
Yeah.